Hi, I'm Mike Johnston, Vice President of Government Affairs of the Michigan Manufacturers Association. MMA is the leading advocate for manufacturers in Lansing. We've saved manufacturers billions of dollars over the years in working with the legislature and the governor's office to push pro-manufacturing policies. Yet, remarkably, members and non-members still ask me, why is advocacy so important? I'd like to take a few minutes to give you an answer to that question. So the bottom line is stakes are very high. Let me give you a few examples of the kind of successes that we've had on behalf of manufacturers. But first, let me give you a little bit of context. The legislature, in every legislative cycle, introduces about 4,000 bills. Most of those bills are pushed by advocacy groups that are counter to manufacturing interests. So it's essential that you, along with us, are engaged in the legislature to block those proposals. In addition, it's important for us to voice our concerns and interest when we're pushing pro-manufacturing policies. Here are a few examples of those policies. We think of them as returns on investment for your membership dues. We like to highlight the personal property tax, a $576 million tax cut that you benefit from annually in an effort that the MMA led through 2014 and took effect in 2016. Workers' comp policies. We rewrote the Workers' Comp Act to reduce litigation and reduce employee costs, saving companies $446 million since 2011. Also, the HICA tax, the healthcare claims tax that went in place in 2011. We were successful at the end of the summer session in 2007 or 18 in eliminating this tax for a $272.5 million net annual savings. These are incredible savings for manufacturers as a result of MMA's advocacy. But it's also important to recognize that we have to block lots of issues. There are 3,000 registered lobbyists. Again, most of them are pushing policies that are against manufacturers and will impede your ability to compete in the global economy. So let me walk through a few examples of things we've blocked and continue to block in the legislature that would impact your competitiveness. An issue called dark stores, which is really an effort by local units of government to change how they would evaluate your real property in their districts so that you would be paying more in local property taxes. We've blocked efforts on specific bills on those issues. A certificate of need, efforts to increase your cost of health care by implementing unneeded technology in hospitals. Healthcare and employment mandates like oral chemo come up every session, lots of them, very sympathetic stories, but they increase the cost of doing business in Michigan and make you less competitive compared to operating in other states, and we work to block those. Regulatory fees such as the air fee and other regulatory fees, the agencies regularly impose and try to propose increases in those fees, and we block them on a regular basis. Regulations, I'm pleased to say we've blocked over 2,000 regulations and frankly eliminated over 2,000 regulations in the state of Michigan to make you more competitive. So let me talk for a second about manufacturing and kind of a little rah-rah session so that you can all recognize how important manufacturing is in the economy. Manufacturing is the single largest sector of the Michigan economy, making up 21.4% by gross state product. Manufacturing employs 618,100 people in Michigan. And to be clear, we're leading the nation in manufacturing job growth, having created 185,200 new jobs since January of 2010. It's important for us to communicate these facts so that people know how important manufacturing is. It's important for manufacturers to tell other manufacturers to stand up and recognize that you are leading the nation in manufacturing job growth and driving Michigan's economy. And one of the interesting facts in terms of economic development, for every one job in manufacturing, it creates 7 other jobs throughout the economy to show the kind of impact that manufacturing has on the Michigan economy. So it's important for manufacturers to recognize that you're essentially invisible to most people in society. While you drive the local economies by employing most of the people in your community, paying the highest wages, and providing the best benefits, the truth is we're sort of politically invisible and invisible in your communities because we don't make products that are generally sold at retail. Our shops generally don't have big signs advertising what we make. So while you're critical to the Michigan economy, you drive your local community's economy, people don't generally understand how important we are and how important you are in your communities. So we have to take advantage of our political footprint. Manufacturers are in every legislative district in the state. And what that translates is political power. When we exist in every community, that means we can have relationships with our elected officials, state reps and state senators, who impact your policy every day. It's critical that we have these relationships and leverage our political footprint and take advantage of our political power. And we do that by developing relationships with our local elected officials. So how can we better engage? What are the tools we have? MMA provides you lots of different tools. We provide legislative alerts on issues that are impacting your company. MMA has several different policy committees from which we generate our legislative agenda, and we encourage you to engage in those conversations. You can do so either in person in Lansing, or we generally have those available through conference calls, so you can participate from your shop and influence the policies that we develop here at the MMA. We also have a PAC, which is an essential tool to influencing elections so that we can elect pro-manufacturing candidates. And frankly, that's the basis on which we can move our policies to the legislature, when we have people predisposed to recognize how important manufacturing is, and the PAC is an essential tool to do that. We will provide you ways to connect with your legislators, and I think that's the key, is that to overcome our invisibility. Get to know your local legislator, know them by first name, make sure they know you by your first name, so when an issue comes up on the floor of the House or floor of the Senate, your face comes to their mind on that issue, and they may call you from the floor of the House and ask you what you think. Those are the kind of connections and relationships that we want to voice the strength of manufacturing. And we would also encourage you to educate your employees on the policies that matter. Many studies confirm that the employer is the most credible voice for employees on policy issues, because people, if their employer believes something, they know it's good for their job, they tend to listen to the employer. So voice your opinion on policy issues. So what else can you do? One of the big things you can do is attend MMA's annual legislative day. It is at this session where we introduce you to your legislator, we involve you in the legislative process, and we provide updates on current issues that are impacting your company and your ability to compete in the global economy. So this is really one great way that we do every year for you to engage in policy. So we hope this has been helpful. We are your organization here in Lansing. We want to engage with you because we believe together we can influence the legislature effectively to make your company more competitive and more competitive in the global economy. So again, we hope this has been helpful, and thank you for your membership.